Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning here in Austin, Texas. This is day 15, 12 to 3 plus minutes of Planks Challenge, and as always, I am filled with gratitude. Thoughts on my mind this morning. I haven't been exactly what I've wanted to be in the gym and in my running over the last few days, maybe a couple of weeks. They always say if you stop something for a while, it's always hard to get back into it, especially working out. And so that's been a thing of concern for myself. But I also know that I have a lot of goals and aspirations. I have a lot of purpose and why I do it. And so I know that even when I talk myself out of it, I know that I'm gonna get back into it. So yesterday, after dropping off my daughter at school, I went back home. I said, okay, I'm gonna get right back out and get into the gym. Well, I didn't. I sat in the house for about 6 hours, laying in bed, eating gluttonously, watching Netflix. But just about 4 o'clock, I decided, I said, no, I can't. I gotta get out. I can't stay stuck in this. And the first person when I get out of the house, literally closing my door, was one of my neighbors. His name was Ian. And Ian was actually, at that moment, just moving out to move to his next apartment. And I stopped him, and we just had exchanged pleasantries. And he told me, yeah, he was moving. And then he told me a bit of a story, how he moved here from Arkansas in St. Louis to become a firefighter, and was telling me a bit about his journey. And as he was telling me his story, he said, thank you for being the one person that just says hi. He said, I felt lonely in this situation. I moved into these apartments. I didn't know what I was doing. But the one thing is, every time I walk by, you would always say hi. Then I get to the gym and I meet a gentleman by the name of Michael. And Michael's with a cane, he's limping, but he's at the gym, and I'm looking at him and I'm inspired. And he looks at me and I say to him, I say, oh, how are you doing? He says, good. I said, how are you? I said, man, I'm great. It's a beautiful day. And he said, oh yeah, it is a beautiful day. And I said, yeah, it is. And he was like, even outside. And I said, you know what the ironic thing about all of that is? I don't even need to know how it looks outside, because every day I go into appreciating it, understanding it's going to be beautiful just by the way I go in. Great conversation, and he gave me a great recommendation for a book called The Sermon on the Mount. Lastly, I meet Ruben. And Ruben is 75, going to be 75 at least in December, and just had hip surgery. And he said this was the first time he had been in the gym. And I watched him for a bit and I said, thank you. And he said, why? And I said, thank you for your inspiration. And we talked a bit, man of faith himself. And the last thing he said was, you were complaining about what got you here today. He said, today, I got you here today because you blessed me by your words. I needed you to be here today. And that just hit my heart. And we hugged and we continued on with our workout. And I knew I was blessed for the day because I was living in my why. And it's such a beautiful place to be. Anyway, that's my thoughts for the day. It's always be blessed today and every day. Thank you for listening. Peace.